Are you ready for a mind-blowing story? Little White was right here, humorously pointing to the forest and telling Jasmine, "This is where you will meet your demise, because what follows will blow your mind." So buckle up and follow me into another storyline. Initially, a black boy claiming to be the adopted son appears, humorously saying, "I'm Henry Matthew." This kid even recounts joyful memories with his adoptive dad, leaving the man utterly flabbergasted, because what the boy said was actually true. His adopted son is indeed named Henry, though he's white and has moved away with his mum to another city. The man asked questions known only to his real son. Surprisingly, the boy answered them all. He thought he'd got a new Henry, but next, the kid turned out to be a little devil. Meanwhile, his son Henry is actually Little White, and in this world, he's also known as Henry Matthew. For simplicity, let's stick with calling him Little White. Here, he's a rising star who invented a chip that can slow down dementia. After Buzz, the chip was set to launch, future bright. But on the way home, he got the shocking news of his adopted dad's suicide. Little White hadn't seen his adopted dad in ages. Hearing the news, he rushed back to town, everything looking so but nobody knows why his dad pulled the ultimate disappearing act. He sought Jasmine, his childhood friend, to reminisce and ask about recent events, but she was clueless. Little White recalled their funny antics. Jasmine loved shining her flashlight around. After bidding farewell, Little White headed home and his girlfriend called excitedly, "You're going to be a dad." Little White was over the moon chatting with his girlfriend when boom, the power went out. He thought, alright, I better check the circuit box. He hung up and headed to the basement. As he opened the circuit box, a shocking sight unfolded. Out popped a little black boy like a jack in the box. The little guy seemed bewitched, staring trance-like at the forest, charging in without a care. But then someone pulled him back. Little White couldn't believe his adoptive dad would do this. He started digging through all his dad's recordings, which told the wild story. There are certain people who can hear sounds that others can, known as the wobble sound, which is like ringing in the ears. Rumor has it that following this sound can open doors. Most are oblivious, thinking it's just tinnitus until a black boy, Henry, shows up, leading to shocking confirmations in front of his adoptive dad. Only then did his dad realize this was all true. But the boy's arrival brought a series of unfortunate events. A helicopter mysteriously crashed in the town, and a nearby school bus had an accident. All these events made Dad suspect the little boy was to blame, and as time went by, the boy kept looking the same, which made him think the kid was actually a little demon. So he knocked him out and imprisoned him for 30 years. That's right. Even after 30 years, the kid still looks the same. Little White found it hard to believe, but told Jasmine. He hoped she could help investigate the little boy, who was currently receiving treatment at the hospital. However, when they arrived, there was a fire at the hospital. 7 people had perished, and 10 were missing. The little boy was detained as a suspect, so they rushed to the station. Molly found an old friend, saying she needed to talk to the boy. They brought them to a room for questioning. The boy claimed he couldn't remember anything and was scared of bright lights. Before they could get useful info, he seemed to hear that special wobble sound again. "We have to get to the woods," he exclaimed. Just then, when Molly touched him, memories that weren't her own flooded her mind. "Did you hear that? We need to go together. Let's go, let's go. Let's go together, let's go, let's go. We must go together, let's go, let's go, let's go." All right, after Molly's diligent and tireless negotiations, they decided to take the boy to the hospital for mental evaluation, with Officer Knoll following closely to prevent any escape attempts. While they were on the move, Molly recalled his previous memories and made a bold decision. As the train approached, she dashed out just in time. Following the boy's lead, they arrived at the edge of a woods, and out he bolted. They both wanted to uncover each other's secrets. After a while, they saw the boy suddenly stop, but Little White was in for a surprise. From the boy's perspective, he seemed to have stepped into another dimension. A strange woman stood across. Jasmine approached the boy, then they resumed their chase. Their goal was to find the boy, still daytime. Soon, Knoll caught up. Little White urged him not to act recklessly. Meanwhile, the boy had taken off with Jasmine, seeing things from a completely different perspective. Knoll shot into the air, warning them to stop, and quickly pursued them, only to lose sight of the boy in that alternate realm. And the bullet Knoll fired accidentally hit Jasmine, who was in that other dimension. Clearly they met at a dimension crossroads. Knoll's fall despaired Little White. He had to return to reality to find him, while Knoll begged for the boy's rescue. However, it was at the very moment when Little White suddenly caught sight of a boy his own age in the distance that he came to a realization. He had stumbled into another world, and who knows when time would catch up with him. In that time-warp space, Knoll was rescued by Little White, caught in dreams and told. When Knoll awakened, a series of events unfolded wherever he appeared. Bizarre calamity struck. 30 years ago, the fourth guardian, John, discovered him, and imprisoned him without permission. It was all an accident. One touch led to him being plunged into a lake by a car. And as Little White was freed, disasters began to rain upon this town. Lisa, the fifth guardian, couldn't escape fate, hit by a car on the street. Many soon followed suit. Little White was left with no option but to reveal the truth to the now grown Henry, hoping to guide him to salvation through that peculiar wobble sound.